Mr. Steal Your Dibs, Boyd. Today I got two guests joining me. First guest, y'all know this guy. He's been around New Orleans for a long time, and then he left. But don't worry, he still got his connection. He still keeps an eye out for everything that goes on in New Orleans. Plus, he is the host of the VK Jones Show. My good friend, VK Jones. VK Jones, what's going on?
Jared, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. I'm doing all right. Good to be here. Let's have some fun and talk some good sports right here.
Definitely. My other guest for today, he is a graduate of Hornville High School, former head coach at Grace King High School. Now he is in the ATL. He is the head coach of the girls basketball team at Alatoona High School. My good friend James Bouye, what's going on, brother?
I'm cooling. I'm cooling. Just trying to stay warm in this weather up here.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. It got to the 70s out here today, man. It felt great. Now it's dark and the wind started to pick up. I had to come back inside.
No, we hit 50 and going right back down when the sun went down. So finally today.
Same thing here. It was 50 something, and now it's back down to like 45.
Yeah.
Well, look.
Yeah, I'm in Chapel Hill, so
let's get started. Let's get started. So we had some big time news yesterday. All right, that just probably broke the internet. James Harden was traded to the Nets. So now we have probably the most prolific scoring trio ever in the NBA. That's James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. Now, all three of these guys needs to have the ball in their hands to score. I'm going to start with you, James. Let you go first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this actually working in Brooklyn?
All right, this is where the disclaimer comes up and says I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy on the show, and we having fun talking.
Mm-hmm.
Regular season, I mean, it's going to look good. I mean, it is going to look real good, especially with D'Antoni as the coach. Even though Nash doesn't have any head coaching experience, he looks like he has some brains around him, and he was a point guard. Where offensively, I think they'll be good. But we all know the downfall of the Suns when Nash was there with D'Antoni. We know the downfall of Houston with D'Antoni. Even with my Knicks, the defense. And when you run up against a team like, I mean, we can say the Clippers, of course, the Lakers are being that hunt, but anybody with some championship experience that knows how to play defense at the end of the games, I think that's what it'll come down to. And we know playoff hardness. We know that story. Can he help that team overcome? Kyrie has hit big shots. KD has hit big shots. Can Harden show up offensively? I mean, they are going to look very good. But can they play defense when they have to play defense, especially when you don't even have, I mean, not to my knowledge, the coach on your staff to kind of get your defense together?
VK, what you say?
Man, I tell you, I've been hearing the same thing. Everybody's been saying, no disrespect, Mr. Bouye, I get it, and I really understand. And the offense is gonna look great. But I'm gonna go off the cuff that some people are not talking about to me. Like James Harden, very good, great offensive mind, great offensive player, great weaponry. But sometimes when it gets down to the get down, he chokes. And right now, the way it's going, the start of the season, what he's doing right now, forcing the hand more than anything else, that's not really cool. It's very unprofessional what he's doing. And I know he had to force the hand in Houston, which Houston should have been traded him from the jump. If you get rid of Daryl Morey and also Mike D'Antoni, should have found a way to trade Harden early before all this stuff happened. But regardless of that, I think the trade was probably great for Brooklyn. The only thing about that is defensively they're not going to be that good because you traded Jared Allen, Calvin LeVert is gone. So you got a bunch of great pieces that the Nets had from the jump. Now they're gone because they pulled the trigger. Now they try to depend on the chemistry. Will they work together? And another thing is will Kyrie still be here? That's going to be the funny thing about it. Will he still be here at the time? I know we'll talk about him in a little bit. But regardless of the fact, Harden brings a whole lot, but will him and KD mesh together? Will he do that? He couldn't mesh with Chris Paul. He couldn't mesh with Westbrook, who he played with at OKC. Could it be different in Brooklyn? Maybe. We'll see, because, it'd be some pressure off of James Harden that he don't have to really put up what he has to put up. But at the same time, man, I don't know. I kind of smell disaster in Brooklyn. I really smell it, because when they signed KD and Kyrie, my thing was which Kyrie Irving you gonna get, because KD, you might know what you get. You gotta hope he's 100%, but then you gotta see where Kyrie head is. So now adding on with Harden, we'll see if the chemistry works. But I think disaster is bound to happen. Bound to happen indeed. And Mike D'Antoni, yeah, you're right. He's not really with defense and everything, but at the same time, he's done some great things as a coach, though, regardless of the fact no defense. But I still say could be a disaster waiting to happen. This trade here, I thought the Philly trade would make sense. Brooklyn, wow. After what happened yesterday, crazy. But I really think disaster might be waiting to happen in Brooklyn.
I'm going to go back to James Harden in his Houston days. And I've had this talk with my uncle who lives in Houston. I always had to talk with him. And I told him all the time that ISO plays will not win Houston a championship. It's not. It might win games in the regular season, but when you got a playoff series and coaches can make adjustments to help their teams out, that ISO play is not going to help. And you pretty much saw it when they had Chris Paul when they were up 3-2. And when Chris Paul went out, that was the end of their season. It became an ISO, and James Harden in Game 7 took so many shots that he couldn't even make a shot. So then we see James Harden and Chris Paul don't have problems. They have problems. Chris Paul wants the ball to move around, get everybody involved. Let's play team ball. James Harden did not want that. James Harden wanted ISO plays. He gets Chris Paul traded. He got Kevin McHale fired, and he got Dwight Howard traded also. And then you brought in Russell Westbrook, and that's two players that also need the ball in their hand to create their own shots. That wasn't going to work in Houston. So now you send James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving, who needs the ball in his hand, with Kevin Durant, who needs the ball in his hand, and then James Harden, who needs the ball in his hand. I really don't see this trio working unless one of them could be a sacrificial lamb and they some type of way can play team ball, not no ISO. If they can play team ball and not play ISO ball, the finals is theirs and it's in their sight. They'll be there. But ISO ball, James Harden, dribble, step back, shoot. Kyrie, same thing, sidestep, shoot. It's not going to work. I just don't see it working with those three. Three of the best offensive scorers, three of the best offensive players in the league today. I don't think it can work. I don't think it will. And that's just my opinion. There are other people that think it's going to work, but I can't see it. Now, go ahead, James.
Depends on the style. We know it won't work running any kind of system or offensive style. But for one-on-one basketball, if that's the goal, they might have the roster to play some one-on-one basketball. Like, can you win like that? I don't think you can. But
that's my point. Yes, that's my point.
Yeah, that's what they're going for.
Look, in Golden State, you had Clay, you had Steph, and you had KD. That's also three of the best offensive players and three of the best offensive scorers. But it wasn't ISO ball. It was plays run to get each other open shots. And if Brooklyn can do that, then it's all good. It's all good in Brooklyn.
Yep.
BK.
Out of all the big threes that we have seen over the years with KD, Steph, and Clay, LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. You got Durant. No, I'm sorry, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen. You have some great. But this might be maybe the worst big three we're ever going to see. This is probably the worst big three because you have three players that's very talented but has weaknesses. They have somehow they have flaws. One, you have Harden that has a tendency of shooting the ball too much and wanting the ball too much. Two, you have Kyrie Irving that is very talented, that can really play very good when he wants to, but he's consistent with it. But the problem is where his head is. Is his head in the game or not? He's done it, and he's very, very disrespectful. Very disrespectful, especially to LeBron James, who basically showed him the game and showed him how to win. So now you're gonna disrespect the man and thinking you the man. You ain't showed nothing in Boston, and now you ain't showing nothing in Brooklyn now. So is he gonna be there that long? And the third thing is Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Durant. I'm gonna say this about Kevin Durant. No disrespect to Kevin Durant. Sensational shooter, great all-around player. For 7 foot tall that can shoot the ball, move inside, great player. But not a leader. Not a leader. He's a straight up punk sometimes when it comes down to him trying to be a leader. You've seen that in OKC. Why in the world he take charge over Westbrook the times when Westbrook made bad plays? Why you ain't do that? But then all of a sudden you get called out in Golden State with I believe that's Draymond Green called him out. And you're gonna stand up to Draymond. And Draymond don't play that. So he's proven that he's not really the leader he is. If you are the dog, if you are the alpha dog, prove that you're the alpha dog, not just skill wise on the floor, but prove you're an alpha dog in your huddle, in your locker room with the players, instead of just letting everybody walk all over you and whatever. People gonna walk all over him every time. So that's three different personalities, and the big three that's not gonna they gonna score, they're gonna do whatever they can. The advantage they might have was KD and Harden playing together before. It might be maybe a little different, but it's just three different personalities that might not even mesh.
So I think KD can fit with both of those personalities because if we'll confirm that he's not an alpha dog, but he is a hell of a player. He's in the spot where he can let Kyrie and James Harden, y'all go handle the ball. Y'all know, get it to me so I can get my buckets. So this may be the kind of situation he wants to be in. That's why Golden State works so well. You have Clay, you have Steph, man, y'all do y'all. When I get the ball, I get my buckets. And him and Draymond will clash because Draymond looking at him as a great player, and you want to say, yeah, you should be that leader, but like you said, that's not KD's personality. He just wants to play basketball, make his plays, go about his business. So with Kyrie and James Harden, that kind of fits well. Putting him back with that OKC team when all of them were young, we all naturally looked for KD to be that leader, but clearly that wasn't him. And that was a young group where they were talented, but they needed that voice. They needed that leader that they didn't have. So, they had to make some moves. And that may be the situation where KD fits best. Give me two alpha dogs, and I just be the guy that get the buckets.
I'm gonna say this in Kevin Durant's defense. While he was in Golden State, he was the best player on that team, but that was never ever going to be his team. That was going to be Steph's team. And we talk about leaders. Yeah, it's Steph's team, but who's the one that will get in somebody's face and tell him anything on that team?
That's Dre.
That's Dre.
Draymond Green.
That is Dre. And Kevin Durant, I would say Brooklyn, to me, I look at it as Brooklyn is his team. I do. I look at it. I can't really see Kyrie being a leader after what happened in Boston. I can't. But I can see Kevin Durant being the leader of this team. But is he a vocal leader? I think we should say more. Is he a vocal leader? And that is what he's not. And we saw Russell more of a vocal leader with OKC. Even in Houston, when he was hurt a couple games, he's talking to the teammates, saying this and that.
Right.
So KD's not a vocal leader. And
Even take it further, go back to Texas. Like, who was the leader on that Texas team? Because naturally, like, I mean, DJ was running the show at the point guard spot.
that's right.
KD just made he wasn't even vocal at Texas.
Right.
Getting drafted to Seattle, I can't even remember who was on that team. Damn, time passing fast. But it was like he came, but he wasn't the leader on that Seattle team. He was just a good. So I don't think he's ever been the guy to be a vocal leader. He just the beast. He just the slim people.
That's it. VK.
Well, I gotta agree on that. He's absolutely right. And the difference is Texas went to the second round in the NCAA tournament. He had a great run. Earlier I wasn't impressed of Durant, especially when they played against LSU. I didn't really see anything. And I was like, okay, this dude think he all that. He better show me more. Because I'm like, no way in the world. But they later on in the season, the Oklahoma State game made me change my mind. And I was like, this dude he's a legit. He can play. And they made a nice run. They got to the second round, but look what happened when he leaves Texas. You know, he got to go take the million. It's obvious. You're going to be top 2 pick in the draft. Texas goes to the Final Four next year with DJ. So that's a huge difference. Actually, they go to Elite Eight. I'm sorry. They go to Elite Eight. So that's a huge difference between one year to the other.
Before we move on to the next topic, I said earlier, somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb. I'm going to go first. If anybody has to be that sacrificial lamb like Chris Bosh was with the Miami Heat, it got to be Kyrie. I think Kyrie got to be the sacrificial lamb. He got to step back, try to get some more assists. Scoring is going to drop apparently because, you know, you got these 3 stars. But Kyrie has to be that sacrificial lamb in my opinion. James, what you say?
I agree because Kyrie can be the best point guard in the league.
Yeah.
And with that ball handling ability, he can still hit his shot, so you have to guard him. He'll be in a lot of one-on-one matchups to where if hell comes, I mean, you kick into elite athletes, even DeAndre Jordan can get a dunk, throw him to live. Kyrie takes on that role, this team is tough to beat. But if he's going out looking for his 30, knowing James Harden wants to get 40, and KD's sitting there like, man, y'all get me my buckets, he can't go out that way. I mean, go ahead and do like Russ, just average a triple-double. Get your 10, get your assists, get your rebounds. I mean, it'll be there for you if you're kicking the shooters.
This guy loves Russell Westbrook. He loves some Russell Westbrook. Go ahead, VK. Go ahead.
Ain't nothing wrong with Russell Westbrook, man. Nothing wrong with him. You know, very talented. But I got to say this. Yeah, I think Kyrie got no choice but to be the sacrificial lamb. After all that he has done, and especially recently with his foolishness and everything, Stephen A. Smith said he needs to retire, which is a great point. Because the fact of the matter is, but it was a nice little way to say you need to just but let's just be real. Quit. Just quit. If you're not here to play, quit. We don't need you. Quit. That's all it is, man. He has no choice. He owes Brooklyn. He owes Brooklyn for all that he did. He needs to be the sacrificial lamb more than anything else. And out of all 3 of them, who should be the leader? It should be Kevin Durant, and it's got to be his time for him to be the alpha dog. If you're gonna change people's opinions, including mine, and I don't mean him to call them punk, literally, right. I don't mean it. I know he's great, but at the same time, bro, come on, man. I done seen too many alpha dogs to charge like you more than anything else. You ain't got to be all vocal. Just get in their face a little bit. Let them know that this is our team. Let's do this to handle our business. You ain't got to be like Jordan, like sometimes. I used to be like that with LeBron. LeBron is a great leader. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I always be like, hey, these people say, y'all, you need to be like Jordan, go punch somebody in the mouth. Because somebody ain't doing right, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. But Kyrie does need to be that guy. He needs to sacrifice everything for this team if they're going to be successful.
Best leader in the NBA, Chris Paul.
Yep.
Very much. I say Chris Paul is very good. LeBron is great. I like Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's leadership, and also Steph Curry. They are some great leaders on the floor.
James, I see you don't agree with the Dame Lillard.
You don't
I
like
saw your face.
Dame?
No, I really like Dame. I like Dame's game.
I was about to say, man. Dame is definitely better than Westbrook now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like Dame. I won't argue that. You got to get out that first round. Like, you got to get to a better seed, and you got to get out that first round because.
Well, hold up. He got to the conference finals. Not this past season, but the year before. The year before, he got to the conference finals.
Sure did.
Yeah.
He just needs help. That's all
he does. Yes. So I'm not putting it all on Dame. The hesitation is because now you're looking at these young guns coming up. Kid out of Utah.
Oh, Mitchell.
Donovan.
Yes.
Murray. They're doing things right now where it's almost like you can say they surpassed Dame in their accomplishments. I mean, they're putting teams on their back, closing series out, coming back from 3-1. With Donovan Mitchell competing the way he's competing and holding that team down. It's now you're looking at Dame like, all right, you have years on them, and they close the gap on you. And even with Luka Doncic coming in, you're getting these other point guards. Is damn, you gotta make your move. You gotta make your move, bro. Russell Westbrook got an MVP.
All right, moving on. All right, moving on.
That's hot.
we mentioned VK kind of went into it with Kyrie. So Kyrie, for personal reasons, has not been playing, and he's under investigation of being at 2 parties without a mask. Also, during one of the Nets games, he was on a Zoom conference call with a politician running for office in New York while the Nets were playing. And I'm gonna start it off first. So once the attack on Capitol Hill, that's when Kyrie said that he wasn't playing. And I guess we can assume, going back to the bubble where he thought the league shouldn't have restarted due to what's going on. We need to give proper awareness to what's going on. The league should be playing. I can only assume this is another reason to why he might be sitting out, or But I'm the type of guy, playing basketball, sports, taekwondo, coaching sparring teams and everything. I'm the type of guy that I could never leave my teammates. I would always have to be there with my teammates. We saw it in Boston in a game 7. He didn't even sit at the bench. He wasn't even there. And they lost to Cleveland in that game 7 conference finals. I say, if that's the reason why he's sitting out, I think he's doing his teammates and the city of Brooklyn a disservice because you agreed to go play for Brooklyn. I think he should be playing with his teammates and use his platform to promote, what he's fighting against, because we see LeBron's still using his platform to this day. He's not leaving his teammates. He's there. And that's what I wish Kyrie would do. Now if it's a real personal reason that we don't know about, talking with family or something, okay, fine. Another thing is the team and the coaching staff and the organization might know what the problem is and probably told him take as much time as you need. Come back when you're ready. We really don't know, but I'm assuming it's because of what happened on Capitol Hill, and if that's the case, come back, play with your team, don't leave your team hanging, and use your platform and speak about what you're fighting against. That's how I feel about it. VK.
Whew, man. I big shout out first of all to one of our good friends, Mr. Johnson, saying that James is the only one that knows anything about sports. And yeah, I know James. I respect this dude here knows his stuff so far, Reggie. But me and Jared been doing this. So why don't you stick to your old school TV and everything else, bro. I guess you're the type of person, Reggie, that say Alabama has the best college football team of all time. I know
Reggie
say
Johnson
that.
said this.
I don't know if he said that, but I think he'll be the type of person that will say that stupidness.
Oh yeah,
he'll say Nebraska. He'll pick a 95 Nebraska.
Yeah,
oh,
there
I
you
know.
go.
And he better pick that because that's one of the best teams of all time. I'll tell you that. That Nebraska team was bad, but sticking to the subject, getting to the subject here. First of all, with Kyrie, and I'm not gonna hold anything back. So swallow your Sprite, my friend Jared, because I'm about to get this in.
Do you think?
I really think Kyrie Irving, to me, in my opinion, talented player, but I think all what he's saying, all that he's doing, to be honest with you, I think he's an idiot. I think he's a freaking idiot because the thing is, what is going on in your head, dog? I don't know who's around you and everything. And with these kind of, and I hate to say it, it's sad with this generation of players, in his generation, like himself, James Harden. This is a generation that is entitled. They think they're given. They want to start giving to them instead of everything earned. They think they're hot stuff. They think they everything right now. I'm like, it's ridiculous, man. This is just straight up wussifying here. This is ridiculous, especially with Kyrie, man. I mean, sometimes the certain actions he do and everything, and especially with the press conference he was in, all that stuff, and then also being a part without being with his mask on. I'm in the back of my head. I'm like, who raised you? Who raised you? My God! Like if that's my son, I'll slap him in his head and be like, the hell wrong with you? You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing my family. It's just the fact that we raised you better than this. How you thinking so stupid and wasting not just your talent, but wasting whatever you have earned. And that's ridiculous, man. You know, it's unbelievable. I think the younger kids that we have now, I think it's a big time hope for the kids now that they are going to be a much better generation than that generation there. Because man, it's ridiculous now how they are, and they're so entitled. And like I said, I think Kyrie is a straight idiot, and Kyrie he needs to quit. If he don't want to play the game, just quit. I mean, to me, you need whatever you got on your deal. I'm not gonna say give back all the signing bonus money. I'm saying give at least half your signing bonus money and some of the money back. Because plain and simple, you stealing money and you wasting people's time. And plain and simple, like we said before, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Jared, on my show. People got to be held accountable. People need to be held accountable. There's nothing wrong with African Americans and stuff like getting opportunities with coaches. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I get it. But there's some people out there being so stupid and giving people a reason to get rid of you. Look what happened to Dwayne Haskins. And I understand, Jared, and I get your opinion about he might have been set up for the failure, but you can see from the draft. You can see from the draft, he didn't want to be there. You can't have that mentality. You can't. I understand it's your hometown. He wanted to go to the Giants. I get it. But you can't have that mentality. You can't. You got to do what you can. Play the game how it goes. Like Tupac says, if you know the rules of the game, if you know all the rules and the parameters, it's a game. You can control the game. And that's what you got to do. You don't control the game, guess what? You're done. They're going to do everything they can to squash you and get rid of you. And that's what Kyrie don't understand. I'm telling you now, Brooklyn is going to cut him loose if he don't get it together. And he probably be maybe one of the top 5 worst athletes ever.
James.
With this topic, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And I kind of stayed in the dark about what's going on because I want to see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to your financial status and the money that he has. I'll use this analogy. As a teacher, we always will say we're underpaid because we are. Mm-hmm. Definitely are. If I was to get let's say I was making 100,000 to teach, 100,000 a year, I'd be missing more days than what I miss now. And I have perfect attendance because I understand the kids expect to see me every day. Sometimes I'm the common figure in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But with a larger salary, now I'm looking at, you know what, I don't even feel like going to work today. So I start missing. And after a while, if I'm still getting paid, now my account looking good. I have money saved up. I can do what I want to do. It gets to a point where it doesn't matter if you fire me. To students and parents and employees and things like that, I would look like a bad employee. But to come back to what VK said about knowing the game and then playing it, maybe I played the game. I got my money and was able to still live my life in my prime. Kyrie has a championship. He has a nice salary. He has his Nike deal.
Did we lose James?
Uh-oh.
I think we lost James.
I hope we can get him back. He's making a good point. I mean, I what he said is he made a good point on that because you're right.
Maybe.
Okay, here we go. He's coming back.
James, you there? Hey, there you go. Hey, James, can you hear me? No, he's still
back.
Yeah, your voice back. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. He's back. All right, James.
Y'all froze.
Yeah, you back now. All right.
Yeah. I don't know when
we all froze then.
Because it froze. It said connection. I just stopped talking. So I don't know what part.
You got to the part of him.
He got to the shoes.
Nice salary.
He said the Nike salary. Yeah.
So he has his Nike salary. So he has his endorsement deals. So maybe he's to the point where I'm good. If the NBA doesn't like how I'm behaving or acting, let me go. Because in normal society, that's what a job should do. So if the NBA is allowing it, I'm not mad at Kyrie. I want to watch him play. I enjoy watching him play, but the NBA is allowing him to do this. You are what you allow. So if I'm allowing my players to do certain things, they'll continue to do it. Practice starts at 5. But if they constantly come in at 5:30 and I don't correct it, they'll continue to do it. So as much as we want some of these guys to look like the role models or they should behave a certain way, they should have been raised like this, they're not acting like adults. They have money and they're all allowed to do what they want to do because they can pay their bills and take care of themselves. It's my part of the argument is it's up to the NBA to make that example. Because if you keep allowing it, what's happening with all of these younger players that's coming up behind? They get drafted. Because to me, it seems like on draft night, NFL, NBA, whatever, the goal is to get drafted. It's not too many like LeBron James where you saw LeBron coming out of high school and was like, damn, this dude trying to be one of the best players ever.
Right.
Just the way he carried himself. Now you look at NBA draft night, they'll be decked out and they just happy that they got drafted. Like you crying that night, you celebrating. And yeah, you know, they playing back.
Think James froze again. We'll get him back in a second. But I'm gonna go from here. We as coaches. Yeah, he's still frozen. Let's see if we can get him back. Can you hear me, James?
He's coming back. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, because I can hear y'all now.
All right.
I can hear y'all now.
Cool.
What's going on?
Okay. Now you said you mentioned about
like that's the goal. Once they get drafted, it seems like that's the celebration. And I'm just looking at body language. I'm not being judgmental or anything like that, but I look at body language and it's like, damn, y'all kind of celebrating, but all you did was get drafted. Yes, you signed a contract and you get the money, but as a fan, trying to see you all out and win championships and things like that. And it's getting to the point where if Kyrie is good with his life and where he is, it's up to the NBA to put him.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. and the mentality has changed so much, and sometimes it's not a good thing. But the NBA, like you said, James, you're right about that. NBA, he got to make an example out of Kyrie, and that's why I was saying what I was saying, because Kyrie, man, it's not gonna look good for younger players, man. It's really not if he keeps doing that, But not just that, it's the fact of doing what you got to do to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and do what you can for the community. And that's what it's all about. And I think a lot of people are losing touch on that. And it's just like the old saying back in the day, like you take a black person out, you take an African American black person out the hood, you give them $1 million, you give them 6 figures, give them money, you'll find out how they act.
Yep, it's a lifestyle change.
Exactly.
We're going out of town.
It's ridiculous.
We're going out of town. And to compare, because you'll hear, because I used to hear it a lot coming up with the discussions of kids going straight from high schools to the pros, they'll use baseball. Well, baseball costs a lot of money to play. So those kids are already financially well off. I'm looking at kids at the school where I work, they're already driving Porsches. So if they do go to the major leagues, that's not a big difference to them. They're still in their same lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But then with baseball, it has a minor league system already set in place.
Exactly.
And that's the huge difference between baseball and basketball. It's money. That's the big thing, because a lot of African Americans don't really play it because of how expensive it is. And people have not a lot of other nationalities play baseball because they got the money or they're being sponsored and funded. But then when they get drafted from high school, it's they already have a minor league system in it if they don't go straight to majors. So it's different with NBA. NBA trying to work something out with the G League as we speak now.
Now,
I think that'll work.
Kyrie, okay. So once NBA does this investigation and he misses these games, it's possible that Kyrie will have to give up a game check of over $410,000. Okay, so that's a lot of money right there. I'm gonna say this.
I need that.
I kind of have a feeling that Kyrie might be on the trade block. I kind of have a feeling. Because word came out, he's upset with the coaching hiring, and he wasn't asked about who he would like to have as a coach. And apparently, word is him and Kevin Durant are kind of distant now since he's been out. And I'm starting to wonder if this James Harden trade was an insurance policy. Let's go get James now, and maybe we could try to dish Kyrie to somebody. Because, I mean, who wants to be on a team with someone that doesn't want to be there? You saw that with Houston just now. John Wall spoke about it. DeMarcus Cousins spoke about it. I mean, you bringing the whole team chemistry down when you got your star player or one of your best players who doesn't want to be there. And you saw James Harden play on the court. He didn't even want to play on the court with these boys. He just lollygagging, this and that. So when you got this with Kyrie, he's not showing up with the team. You might want to deal him off also. And then look at what you're paying these guys. You're paying James Harden $40 million a year, Kevin Durant $39 million, Kyrie $33.4. Man, I think if you deal Kyrie, you still got a good shot of going to the finals regardless. But I don't think you need that type of trouble on your team. This guy is just gonna be like, I'll show up when I want to show up. I'll play when I want to play. I don't want to play. I ain't got to play. I mean, look at it like this, James. You coach a high school basketball team. I got my Taekwondo school. One of the duties that we must fulfill is teaching these kids commitments. Staying committed to a certain sport. You know, you playing basketball, you stay committed. You do Taekwondo and you want to join a sparring team, stay committed. And we as adults, teachers, we must show them this. We must set the example. You got a lot of kids coming up, like you said, James, that's looking up to Kyrie, looking up to all these players, and then they sit there and say, Hey, Kyrie, play what he want to play. I'm the best player of this high school team. I ain't got to play. They're going to think it's right. And then if James, like, hey, where you been the past two days? Oh, I ain't feel like coming, coach. Okay. Either you going to make this dude run and he comes to the next game, you going to sit him out that game, or you cutting him. You letting him go. You cutting him. Yeah. You got to set an example early. So, yeah, I agree with James. The NBA / Brooklyn Nets organization got to do something. You can't allow this to continue, okay? He is an employee of the Brooklyn Nets. All right, you paying this guy a lot of money. This guy needs to be on that court. That's just my 2 cents.
That's it.
And I think it's more like I'm sorry, James. You go ahead, bro. I ain't gonna go ahead, James.
We both went at the same time. I think that's why the James Harden trade did happen, because remember, it was delayed. They wanted to do it early, but then it was like a wait and see.
Right.
And it probably was a let's wait and see if Kyrie started tripping, because the one player they have on that team that you can win a title with, that you have to have, is KD.
That's correct.
You should get another guard to go with him. Either it'll be Kyrie or it'll be James Harden. So once Kyrie started tripping, hey, let's make the move for James Harden. So it may not be a big three, or it could be. I mean, it's up to Kyrie. So we just have to see how it play out.
VK?
I think the one team, I think there's two things that could happen. One, Brooklyn could send him to one place, and I think that would make sense in a trade because of the salary and money wise. And this guy could really help Brooklyn out, especially the way he's playing right now. You can just trade Kyrie to the Washington Wizards and go get Bradley Beal. And that would make a lot of sense.
You can't have 2 point guards. You can't have Kyrie and Russell.
No. Bradley Beal's a 2. Bradley Beal's a 2.
No, I'm saying for the Wizards. I'm saying you can't have Kyrie and Russell on the same team, 2 point guards. No way. That ain't gonna work.
Well, you're right. But the only way with salary, I'm saying that because of that. But you can't do that. That would be bad for Kyrie. But I'm like, hey, it don't matter. You got to suffer the consequences for what you do, or send Kyrie to real career suicide. Send him to Sacramento for some draft picks and whatever to match that. Sometimes or the Knicks. Well, the Knicks will make a lot of sense. They're
not going to trade him within the division. They're not going to do that. Not within the division.
RJ Barrett ain't looking right, man.
You talking about some fights every night. There was some fights for real. But I'm thinking the Wizards or maybe the Sacramento Kings, something like that. Kyrie is going to pay the price for what he's like Undertaker said, like in the WWE, you will pay for your crimes.
Yes, indeed. This Kyrie fiasco is something else, and it really got started when he asked for the trade out of Cleveland. He went to Boston, and then we started chemistry with Boston. He had none with anybody. We saw Terry Rozier talk about him, and now here we are in Brooklyn, and he's only played 27 games with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, last topic of the show. Sunday, 5:40, round 3, Saints versus Bucs. I'm going to ask for your predictions. We'll start off with VK.
Well, 5:40 your time, Jared. 6:40 me and James time.
Correct.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's gonna be a good game on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? The Saints has been amazing against the Bucs, and I mean it's amazing with 2 games. They swept them, and they outscored them 72-26 in 2 games. But at the same time, this is Tom Brady. This is one of the best quarterbacks of all time in the NFL. This dude has done it before in the past. He can do it again. I think the Saints will do it, but this is going to be close. This is going to be just like the Saints and the Panthers, Carolina Panthers 3 years ago with Cam Newton. And that when I say that game was, oh my God,
I was there. I
was humble that week because that's my wife's team, and my wife was on me like white on rice. But I was humble and I said, "We'll win, but it's gonna be close because I know it's gonna be hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, and it's going to be hard for the Saints this Sunday. So I think the Saints will win. If it be close, it'll be by a field goal, or if the Buccaneers slip up a bit, it could be by 10 points. But it's going to be really close. I give the Bucs a lot of respect because of the fact they have TB12 on their team.
Bucs, not the Bucs. I'm sorry. The Saints are favored by 3. James.
And it's tough. AB, they starting to get AB involved over there. They still can't block, but now Town, he utilizing his weapons. And now it becomes real important for Marshawn to shut down Mike Evans. It's like now you really have to take him out of the picture because you can still give some attention somewhere else with AB. Tom's got his tight end Grunt. Leonard looks like he's running a little harder. I mean, all you have to do is peak at the right time. That's it. Defense. I don't know if Tampa can stop our offense. I mean, we're back to health. We back healthy. Even with Murray out, I'm a little nervous about that. The backup running back spot. Taysom, we don't have our gimmick plays, but I still think we have enough on offense to take care of business on that end. But defensively, we got to be on our game.
Who you got winning?
Oh, I got the Saints winning.
All right.
Mm-hmm. I ain't playing media. I'm a homeboy.
Let me start off with a quick story. 2001 high school basketball season. Archbishop Shaw are the defending state champions in Class 5A. They beat Jesuit 3 times that season. One in the tournament, twice during district play. They meet up with Jesuit in the state championship, and Jesuit went off. Vornado had a great game, but Ryan Martin was the MVP. Ryan Martin couldn't miss a shot for nothing in the world. It's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. And in Shaw's case, it was hard to beat Jesuit for a 4th time. The Saints are playing the Bucs for a 3rd time this year. And this was the matchup I did not want to happen. I did not want the Saints to play the Bucs at all, due to the fact that it's hard to beat a team 3 times. But hey, this is football. You got to play who's in front of you, and that's the Bucs. I watched the Bucs games last week against the Washington Redskins, and I can easily sit here and say the Washington football team.
Right.
I can easily sit here and say that Washington could have won that game. They could have, but their defense was horrible. You got a D-line full of first-rounders, and you couldn't get no pressure on the quarterback, and you couldn't even stop the run.
Yep.
Now, Tampa Bay has a good D-line. They have 2 great linebackers. Devin White returns from the COVID list. But their secondary is weak. It is weak. Our defensive line is great. Our linebackers are great. Our secondary is good. I won't say great, but I'll say good. And I think that's what help us with an advantage of winning. If we can establish the run with Kamara, Ty Montgomery maybe, and even somebody else, we establish the run, we will be fine. We will be fine. I don't think the Saints beat them as bad as they did in the second matchup or the first matchup. I think it's a little bit closer. But establish the run, get some play action, and even using Deontay Harris in the receiving game, I think the Saints get the win. And I'm sticking with my Saints. Saints by at least 9. Saints by at least 9. I'm going with the Saints in this one.
So Taysom's not playing?
I don't know. I mean, after that hit last week, I think.
I know. I hope he's playing. But
Did
the Saints need as much weapons as possible.
Did the report come out? The injury report come out yet?
I don't know if the latest official report came out yet. I'll look, but
I know they're not practicing. Them 2 hasn't practiced yet.
Right. At this part of the week, I mean, Friday becomes that much more important.
VK.
Yes, sir. I really think, like I said, They need everybody, all hands on deck on this one. The defense got to get pressure on Brady. They really got to get some sacks. The secondary got to step up, make plays like they've been doing. They can't break. The biggest thing that Saints defense cannot do, they cannot give up big plays. Just don't give up big plays. If they give up big plays, that's going to give Tampa a lot of confidence. So they just need to cut that down early. Saints offense need to jump on them early. They do that. It could be big time for the Saints, and I think they'll be straight. Breeze is starting to get back to his throwing motion a bit, and I don't know what happened. I know they gotta be careful with his ribs. Something happened with that injury. He's starting to throw much better than he was early in the year. So early in the year, it wasn't looking too good. I don't know what happened with that injury, with those ribs, with him being out the extended period of time. He's coming back and throwing much better now. So that's a great sign for the Saints offense. So, like I said, I think it's gonna be a long game because the Bucs, they're not gonna go away. Tom Brady will not let that team die. And also, I really think, all I know, I'm gonna say this: the Saints got to take care of business. They know they got to take care of business. But I just know one thing: to the LA Rams. I had already talked to my little firm that I have. Take care of business. We got a little something for you.
Look.
We got a little something for you.
Look.
Take care of business.
We
want
the Rams. We want the Rams. Hold on, VK. Hold on. We want the Rams. Yes, we do. We want to give them some payback for what happened 2 years ago. I was in that dome when it happened, bro, screaming where the flag at. I walked out that dome sick. All right. But look, we can't be hoping for another team to take care of business. It is what happens. What happens. We just got to go out there and play our best game and do what we got to do. Go ahead, VK. Go ahead.
I get it, but out of all the years that I've seen Lambeau Field, this year is not the year to go play Lambeau Field. It's going to be more colder than it ever been with no fans in the stands.
Hey, we went to Philly in that cold and won, so it can happen. Mike Vick went to Lambeau in that cold and won. Mike Vick was the first quarterback to ever go on a Lambeau and win a playoff game on the road. It can happen.
That's Michael Vick. That's Michael Vick. The last time the Saints played in that kind of bad weather was against the Bears in the NFC Championship. They had a great start, and all of a sudden, the one of the luckiest plays I ever seen in my life happened in that ball game. So
we won in that cold in Philly.
Saints. Yeah, we did. They did, but this is a different kind of cold. This is frozen tundra cold,
and it's
gonna be a lot colder with no fans. With no fans.
I don't want to experience that cold.
That's what I'm saying. When I seen them play early in the year in some cold weather, and I'm talking about with a little bit of snow near the end of the year, I was like, the Saints, I don't want the Saints to play that. That is going to be too dangerous. That's going to be too dangerous. And I know one place is going to be as cold as that. Buffalo on Saturday night. I heard there's going to be some snow.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right quick. If the Saints do happen to go play Green Bay, thank God the game is for 2:00 Central Time. It's not a night game. That's a little bit better than it.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Might get some sun.
Man.
Before we get out of here,
that night. Wow.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, James, how's your team looking, man?
We'll see tomorrow. We playing well. Taking over a program that's not used to winning. That's the difference.
Yeah.
With some games we dropped this year, they don't know how to win. We were up last Saturday. We lose it at the end. Lose by 3. Played Tuesday. Got behind in the second quarter, but I outscored the team in the second half. But it's still, you have to know how to start the game like that. Just play the game. So we'll see tomorrow. We have a game tomorrow and Saturday. So we playing in a good spot, though. I'll say that.
Okay.
We they're playing real well. Now it's time to reward ourselves and get a win.
Gotcha.
How good is your district?
Oh, we probably in the toughest region in the state. North Carolina. We in the Cobb. So Wheeler came down. We in there with Wheeler, Pope, South Cobb. Cal has one of the top point guards in the country. He's a junior right now, Scooter Henderson. So our region is loaded, and that's on the boys' side. On the girls' side, Scooter Henderson's sister is one of the top players in the region. There's a girl, Floje Johnson. She's a rapper. She was on America's Got Talent and things like that. She's a junior. All kind of D1 offers. The girl we played Tuesday, Cheyenne Holloman. I mean, she's a college prospect. So our region is probably the toughest in the state. So I enjoy it. I like the competition. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm gonna tell you, good luck to you, man, tomorrow and Saturday.
Yep.
Best of luck to your girls.
Yep.
So, VK, any last words?
Well, appreciate you having me come on. It was fun tonight, talking with you guys and everything. James, did you play basketball in Hardenville?
Yep. Played 2 years.
Okay.
Missed everything. Yep. Played 2 years.
Okay.
My Corey Landry was there my freshman and sophomore year. So he was the guy at Hardenville then.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, but I appreciate you having me coming on, Jared. Live from the underground coming up soon. It's a brand new podcast. Me and Jared JB Boyd. We're gonna have. It's gonna be a little bit different than VK Jones show. There's gonna be a lot of. It's gonna be sports, entertainment, life. There's gonna be a whole lot of things. We're gonna have a whole lot of guests. We're gonna do some. It's gonna be a little bit different, man. So it's gonna be in February. We'll let you know the date real soon. Probably be like third week or second or third week of February. But we'll let you know the date soon. Me and Jared's working on it. So keep tuning in on Facebook and we'll let you know. We'll let you know real soon. Live for the underground. Looking forward to it. And good to meet you, Mr. James. And you gave some good points tonight.
Yep. Appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me on.
No doubt, man. For James Bouye, for my man VK Jones, I'm Jared, Mr. Steal Your Deals Boyd. We'll catch you next time on the Hash Out Show. Peace.
Yes, sir.